Good afternoon and happy Friday, my people. I am Chad Ricardo in for Guy Lambert. Today we've got an outstanding Fox 5 Alive Zone for you. We're going to check out the DC Breeze. We will talk to some of the DC Divas as well, both in playoff action. But before we get to any of that, let's get to Taylor Grinda for the latest on the weather.
Well, it's certainly going to be a hot day out there. Very humid, too. We're already seeing temperatures spike across the area right now. We're into the mid to upper 80s, but we're going to get into the 90s in just a couple of hours. So here's a live look at radar showing some dry conditions around the DMV. However, we're going to see the chance for some pop-up showers and some storms here throughout the afternoon, mainly due to the high heat and the high humidity building. Here's how today kind of shapes up. The main headline, of course, will be the high heat, the high humidity. Real temperatures will get into the mid to upper 90s with heat indices upwards of 109 degrees. We've already seen a heat advisory issued for the whole DMV ongoing throughout the afternoon, even through about 8 p.m. this evening, too. If you have outdoor plans, one, watch out for the pop-up storms, and also, two, take the necessary precautions from the heat, get into the AC as much as possible, and stay hydrated. Let's talk about that storm threat through about 2, 3, 4, 5 p.m. We'll be under that chance all the way through about sunset this evening. So at any point in time this afternoon, we'll have the chance for those pop-up storms. They'll remain very isolated, and not everyone's going to see them. 98 degrees for the real temperature high. It will feel like, again, upwards of 109 degrees. We're talking about dangerous heat, and it's going to stick around for this weekend as well. Although it won't be quite as hot as today, I do still think tomorrow we'll have temperatures back into the 90s with feels like temperatures over 100 degrees. And if you don't get the storm today, you'll have a better chance to pick up on that for tomorrow. 7-day forecast, here's how it shapes up. We'll be hot, we'll be very humid throughout the weekend with a chance for some pop-up storms for both weekend days. Again, a little bit of a better chance than we will have for today. And although we do dry out by early next week, we'll still be very hot, very humid through about Wednesday. And then after that, it looks like we finally break this high heat.
And thank you so very much, Taylor Grinda. Listen, check this out. It is going to be warm this weekend. Weather is going to be kind of nice depending on what it is that you like, so you need something to do outdoors. Well, I got just a thing for you. There is a huge playoff game going down this weekend in the district as the DC Breeze play host to New York in an ultimate frisbee competition playoff matchup. And to talk to someone about that, we got to bring on my main man, Rowan McDonald. How are you, Ro?
I'm doing great. It's always good to connect with you, Chad. Hope everything's going well with you as well.
Now, Rowan, for the people, the unaffiliated out there who don't know Ultimate, because I know Ultimate now, and I know it mainly because I've been had the opportunity to interview you on 2 different occasions. Talk to me about Ultimate Frisbee. What is the sport? What makes it so dynamic?
Yeah, Ultimate Frisbee, definitely this up-and-coming sport, basically combined a little bit of everything, football, basketball, and soccer all into one, just passing the disc around with your teammates, trying to attack it into the other team's end zone. So yeah, you don't really have to know the ins and outs. You'll pick it up if you're a sports fan, and it's just a pretty pretty fun-filled, action-packed, and highlight-driven sport. So very good for really anybody if you're an Ultimate Frisbee fan or not.
One of the things that I love about it is that, again, for a lot of individuals, this is a new sport. It's something that they're beginning to get into, but just your personal journey, you've been playing this for a while. How'd you get into it?
Yeah, my younger brother, Chad, got me into it. I was always an athlete. I had a chance to walk on to, D3 basketball school. And, once you're kind of done, college athletics, it's really hard to play sports. Not going to go to the NBA or the NFL, but Ultimate Frisbee is an incredible sport for young adults that want to stay active. And, the DMV has an amazing community. So once I came down here, started with the local leagues that anybody can play with, and then climbed the ranks through the club scene and then the professional scene with the DC Breeze.
Speaking of that DC Breeze, again, I am a huge fan as I've spent a little bit of time out there. You all have taught me some things, or at least attempted to teach me some things. I think that that's a better way of putting it. What makes this family so special? What makes the DC Breeze a place that not only yourself, but other individuals would want to play for?
Yeah, don't sell yourself short, Chad. You got game. I know you're a D1 athlete yourself, and I've seen you out there making some catches. So, see you at tryouts next year. But DC, the Breeze is a special community because right now it's got to be a third of our roster has come from the local DMV youth scene. Our
Wow.
players are always coaching. Uh, the DC Breeze and the ownership have popped up camps around the DC area. So like we are a very homegrown team. Yeah, our young kids played for some of our older players, give back to the community, and we're a very cohesive unit. So a very easy team to root for if you have DMV pride. We're like a homegrown team, work hard and kind of build up from the bottom. And that's why the game against New York is so exciting because they like to kind of go out and sign the top talent. So it's a fun little back and forth there.
I tell you what, Ro, if you were working in television, we would call that a segue right there, what it is that you just now did. Huge game going down this weekend. It's playoff action time as the DC Breeze are playing host to New York. It's a home game. Why should individuals come out? What should we expect?
Yeah, I mean, it's what we talked about. It's just like a family-friendly atmosphere, right? You go to the major sports games and it's super fun, but we're very fan focused. There's a nice little lawn. You can sit on the lawn, watch the game in the shade, and it's just Sean Banks, our general manager, does a great job of just making it a really fun place to go with your family. You don't need to know, again, all the rules of the sport. You're going to see it in 5 minutes. You're going to understand what's going on. And the DC New York matchup speaks for itself. Two of the best teams in the last 5 years. It's a classic rivalry, and you know they always come down to the wire and give you 2 hours of thrilling excitement.
If you're just now joining us, it's Fox 5's Live Zone. We're talking about DC Breeze with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Roy McDonald. All right, here's the matchup. New York, you talked about them. They try to buy championships right here with the DC Breeze. We build it brick by brick. Majority of the athletes coming from right here in our own backyard. What's this matchup going to come down to?
Yeah, just like with that, style, or the philosophical difference. There's
Styles
also
make
like
fights, Ro.
a different style on the field. You're going to see DC trying to control the possession with some smaller looks. DC is not afraid to open it up. They're going to give you probably a few more highlights, but I'm pretty confident that our defenders are going to be able to close the gap there. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit of everything, and it's going to come down to 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Anything can happen here in the UFA and professional ultimate. So just make sure you're checking it out.
Just to that point, and I've heard you all say this before in terms of the way that you all manufacture your offense in regard to other sports, a little ball control of the offense, a short passing game as you all get it out there. Where did that come from? How did you all develop that, and how is that beneficial for the DC Breeze?
Yeah, it started, we had essentially like the best, what you would call a quarterback in the world, Johnny Malks, who actually left us for Seattle this year. But he brought in a type of offense that anybody watching was just like, this is, almost revolutionary. It was these small passes, high completion percentage. And then, we have Christian Boxley, who right now is the best player in the world, and he thrives in that small spaces. So we just used our strengths. We relied on those two guys quite a bit, and everybody else has really picked it up. So it's kind of, DC's calling card, and we've tried to kind of push the sport further with this offense. And yeah, come on out, take a look, and we'll see if it works.
You all, DC Breeze, took this all the way to the Final Four last year as you all advanced there. Fell a little bit short at that point in time. What's going to make this year different?
This year's just the path. We have not had an easy season by any means. We've lost more times in the regular season than yeah, maybe 7 years ago. It's been that long since we've lost this much, and nothing's been easy. We've basically been in playoff mode the last 6 weeks.
Wow.
Because if we had lost, we might have got squeezed out by Philadelphia. So it's just been it's been a hard and challenging year, and I'm hoping that growth and those lessons are going to help us now when it's essentially 4 must-win games to accomplish all of our goals.
All right, 4 must-win games. Been in playoff mode 4 months now, says Rowan McDonald. It all goes down on Saturday at Carlini Field. Those in the DMV should certainly come on out and cheer on the DC Breeze as they look to take down New York. Ro, thank you so very much for spending some time with us right here on Fox 5's Live Zone.
Always a pleasure with Fox 5 and Chad. Peace, y'all.
I appreciate you, brother. All right, the DC Breeze, again, go down and check them out at Carlini Field. Ultimate Frisbee, it's fun, it's exciting, it's great for the family as well. Coming up, we're going to turn the page and get into politics, talking with Matteline Somerville. That's next on Fox 5's Live Zone. Welcome back to Fox 5's Live Zone. I'm Chad Ricardo in for Guy Lambert here today. And I got to tell you, what it is that I love about this show is that you never know what you might see. You just heard us talking about Ultimate Frisbee. Now we're going to dive right on into politics. And for that, we're welcoming to the Live Zone, Matteline Somerville. Matteline, thank you so very much for taking a moment with us here today.
Hey, Chad, thanks so much for having me.
All right. Well, Matteline, it's a Friday, so that means that there is no better day than to talk some politics and more specifically, President Donald Trump. Now, President Trump is on his way to Scotland today for a 5-day trip where he's going to check in with his golf resorts in Turnberry as well as Aberdeen, as well as meeting with the British Prime Minister and the head of the Scottish government. That is a pretty special trip. Matteline, what do you expect to come out of this trip?
I expect golf. I think he'll play some golf. I think he'll have some fun, right? I think he has a close family member who was born in Scotland, so I think he'll connect with his heritage a little bit, right? And I know we're on a tariff timeline here with different countries in the European Union, so I think he's going to spread some goodwill, play some golf. I don't see this being too much of a contentious trip, and hopefully make some deals along the way.
That's an interesting point because those in business say that some of the best deals do go down on the golf course. So is that kind of is that the tea leaves that you're reading here, that this is a leisurely business adventure?
Absolutely. That's exactly what I think is going on. And he's a guy who likes to make deals. So what better place to do that in one of his favorite places?
No, I love it. All right. So that's President Trump going abroad. We'll take it from there and then bring it right back here to the DMV, more specifically Maryland, as the Trump administration denied Maryland Governor Wes Moore's request for FEMA aid after the historic flooding that devastated Western Maryland. The pictures that you see on the screen right now. The flooding in May damaged more than 2 200 homes, roads, and elementary schools, as well as critical infrastructure. Governor Moore says that he plans to appeal the denial from FEMA. A White House spokesperson telling Fox 5 that the president responds to each request with great care, ensuring American tax dollars are used appropriately. Whew. This says a lot about Maryland residents here. What does this act, what does that signify to you, Matteline?
I don't like it. And I feel like I've developed at least somewhat of a reputation for being as fair as possible. And I don't like this. I think that when you're the president, you're the president of all people, right? You're the president of all the states, not just the red ones, the blue ones too. And people are people and humans are humans, and these people need help. These folks need help. So I can't imagine the somewhat legitimate reason, like whatever he's calling legitimate reason, as to why he thinks that this is an okay thing to deny. But I'll be looking out for that reason, because it's gonna take a really serious one to convince me that that's an okay choice.
Well, Matteline, what surprises me the most about this is that there's not more of an uproar, because we know that Texas, a red state, just had significant flooding, and I believe that President Trump alluded to something in the range of that whatever Texas needed, they would get it to be able to recover from that. Flooding in Maryland, not the same case.
It's really heartbreaking, honestly. When fellow Americans are in distress and you have resources, why wouldn't you send help? It doesn't make any sense to me, unless it was a political move. And I feel like the logic is just as simple as that. So it's disappointing to me to see that we're not able to put politics aside when, human life and limb are in danger.
Extraordinarily in danger, and not only the life, but the property and everything else. People's entire lives, the totality of their lives and their comfort is at stake. So I happen to agree with you there. All right, we'll go ahead and move on to Columbia University, as this is a topic that has been in the news for years now, as they and the Trump administration have reached a deal which allows for the university to once again receive federal funding, which is a big deal. The university agreed to pay more than $220 million to settle federal civil rights investigations. The White House says that it failed to protect Jewish students during months of protests. And now, as part of that deal, a senior White House official says that the university has handed over hiring and admissions data. They must ban mass protests, add their own security force, and cooperate with the New York City police. Columbia will also give more than $20 million to Jewish employees who say that they themselves face discrimination. Was this the right move for Columbia?
So I'll come at it from both perspectives.
Come on with it, man.
I was raised Jewish. Let's go. I was raised Jewish. I was raised in Orthodox Jewish family, community, and I faced anti-Semitism, discrimination myself. They spray painted a swastika on my house when I was a kid. So I genuinely appreciate the President of the United States and his administration taking the time and the effort to make sure that anti-Semitism doesn't happen, especially with everything that's going on with Israel right now. Having said that, I think this is an excuse to be able to accomplish what he wants to with the universities. If you look at what his narrative and what J.D. Vance's narratives have been over the last few years as they've campaigned, they have publicly said the universities are the enemy. We agree with Nixon, the universities are the enemy because they are the arbiters of truth. They tell the people what the truth is, and they don't like climate change. They don't like talking about human rights abuses overseas. They don't like DEI. They don't like talking about these things. And so I see this, even though I don't want to, I see this as an effort to try to gain ideological control, because part of that settlement was giving oversight to an independent person to make a judgment about whether or not the curriculum in the Middle East studies was okay. So I don't think that any university should have to submit ideological control to any presidential administration. So as much as I would love to sign on and say, I love this, I appreciate that you're protecting me and my family, I think this was just kind of a way to get around skirting what they actually want to do and still make it happen.
Wow. I think that that's a great answer, and I think that it says a lot about yourself, the way that you are able to see both sides of that. In your own internal conversations, if you've shared this view with others within your circle, do you get pushback for that from the Jewish community, or are more within the Jewish community feeling the same way?
That's a great question, and something I really enjoy talking about because nobody ever asks me.
Yeah.
But I get a lot of pushback, and I was talking to my family about it recently, and I wore my Star of David the other night when I was on primetime because they of course don't want anyone to be hurt in Gaza. They of course love children and families and people who are there who are civilians, but they feel like, they're protecting their homeland. And on the flip side, right, people here are remembering, hey, remember, all people are people. Everybody matters. Everyone counts. And so it's just really not a fair fight here that everyone's having. So for that reason, it feels great that the Trump administration is trying to protect us for that reason. And I feel like from my friends that are on the right and my friends that are on the left, I can't get anybody to agree with me. I can't get anybody to because I don't even feel like I'm in the center. I just feel like I'm being reasonable about it. Right. I can't really get anybody to say, let's just consider the human rights aspect of this, and also don't be used as a pawn. Like, don't be used by an administration that's trying to use you for something when they really don't care about the underlying issue.
No, look, I love that about you. Again, it is an ability to not just join one team or the other team, but to actually be able to look at things the way that they are from both sides. Matteline, I have been hosting bar and bat mitzvahs in my spare time for the last 17 years. So I know the tribe. I know the tribe well. So that's where my perspective comes from. Go team.
I love it.
Go team. All right. So we'll go ahead and we'll switch topics here again now. President Trump renewing pressure on Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. During a rare visit to the Federal Reserve, the two went head-to-head on camera over the central bank's multi-billion-dollar renovation project in Northwest. Their relationship is tense at best as Trump continues to push for lower interest rates. Big conversation. I think that this is only going to get even bigger. What are your thoughts?
So, a little bit of a history lesson here. And I was just talking about Jimmy Carter this morning on TV. So Jimmy Carter is one of the presidents that's known for not firing his Fed chair, right? And bringing in somebody who disagreed with him, who wanted to raise interest rates, which is never popular, right? The Fed chair that he brought in ended up sticking with Reagan and then helping us out of the 2008 mortgage crisis. He said, if you raise interest rates on people rather than lowering them, which is what Trump wants to do with Jerome Powell, if you do that, you're never getting elected again. And Jimmy Carter said, do it anyways, because it's what's good for the people. And he didn't get elected again. And you can argue for different reasons why. Now we're in another time of inflation, right? And we have another president who's going to the Fed chair and saying, I want you to lower the interest rates. And the Fed chair saying that's going to be bad for the American people in the long run, right? And so that's the contentious fight that we're having right now. It's what's good for politics versus what's good for the people. And you could make the argument, if I'm not in office, I can't do, like, if my party's not in office, I can't get done when I need to get done. I hear that argument. But at the same time, you got to consider the motivations. And so I think that's the important thing here, is to consider the motivations. And also to watch that hilarious clip that we just saw of him and Jerome Powell at the construction site. Did you see that?
I did.
It was so funny. It was hilarious. He was like, yeah, I think you're spending $3.1 million. He was like, no. That's not what I saw. It was, and uncertainty with the Fed chair creates uncertainty in the markets. So that's always going to be a fear, and always something that is going to need to be protected. So always keep that in mind.
I really appreciate having you here on Fox 5, Matteline. You do present both sides, not just batting for one team here. All right. Well, I feel like we have now warmed you up to the main event now. Now we're really going to get into it. And that is, of course, the mounting criticism of the White House, which is something that a lot of people are familiar with. This comes down as the Trump administration doubles down on claims that former President Barack Obama committed treason. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard joining the White House briefing Wednesday, backing President Trump's claim that Obama tried to rig the 2016 election. She claims that intel was pulled to hide evidence that Russia did not interfere, calling that action criminal. Democrats say that this is all an attempt, though, to divert attention from Trump's Epstein troubles. Is this a diversion? Big deal, little deal, no deal? Your thoughts?
Okay, so let's play this out like it's just a strategy, right? Let's look at this like we're aliens from outer space and we have no interest in this at all. Okay. Trump decides he's not going to release the Epstein files. He says it's because the Democrats have doctored the files and they're not quality anymore, right? Next, his base comes out and says, we're upset because that's not what you said you were going to do. And now we don't trust you. And we're frustrated because we feel like there's a two-tier justice system, right? It's just justice for the people at the top. There's no justice for the people who commit crimes at the top for when they take advantage of people at the bottom. So magically, right, like 5 business days later, we have Tulsi Gabbard that comes out with some information about how you can't trust files that Democrats have doctored. And so I think what's happened here is they have just come from a completely objective piece and say, look, these files, it's possible for files to have been doctored. It was pulled over on Eve to me. Remember how much you trusted when I told you that those files were doctored in the past. So regardless of what the truth is now about the files, the timing of everything is very suspicious.
Timing of it is suspicious indeed. It plays like it's another one of those diversion tactics, especially when we also saw the MLK files being released shortly in that time frame as well. It feels like a diversion. We'll see whether it is or whether it isn't. All right, we'll get you out of here on this next one. I know that this one is one that we can talk a lot about as well. This is human rights activists as well as AIDS groups, and they are sounding the alarm over the escalating malnutrition crisis that's going down in Gaza. More children are reportedly dying from starvation in the war-torn region. Activists blaming Israel's blockade for preventing food and supplies to be distributed. Ceasefire attempts have been unsuccessful here so far. What can be done to finally bring some sort of peace, some sort of resolution to the conflict?
I hate it. You know, I think that we have to stop saying that we have to blame Hamas, because even if logically we blame Hamas, there's somebody who's still withholding the food. We've heard about people who are waiting in line, like doctors are reporting this, who are just taking care of people who are waiting in line for food and aid, who are being murdered. And it's simply not okay. And the reason I had President Carter on the brain was because of this issue, right? So a quick story about him. He was probably the person alive when he was alive who had done the most for the state of Israel. He brokered peace between Israel and Egypt, which had nothing like that had ever been done, right? So after he was president, he still remained an ambassador. And about 11 years later, he went back to Israel and saw that the Israeli government was siphoning funds that were coming from the UN for the refugees back through the Israeli government. And he came back to the US and he told the truth about what he saw. And he lost a lot of support. He lost a lot of support from the Jewish community, from Republicans, Democrats, from anybody who could categorize him as a result of him telling the truth. And and I respect him so much for that, because he didn't have to, right? But he did it because he wanted kids to eat and to have water and to be safe. And I think at the end of the day, we can just set politics aside for 1 second and just say, these are just kids, these are just families, these are just people. Like, we're not playing with soldiers here. We're playing with people who are just like you and me, and remembering that there's still people over there.
I'm going to preface my follow-up question by saying this, as someone who is a minority in my own regard. One of the things that I don't love on television is when hosts ask for someone to speak for all of their people, as if all of their people are a monolith in and of themselves. And since I don't like doing that so much, I'm going to do that with you right now, Matteline.
Okay.
On this topic here, what I often wonder is, how do others within the community see this conflict right now at this point? You know, years after the initial, the horrible act, the fact that there are children, women that are starving, that are dying, not Hamas, but beyond that, how is that viewed within the community?
I would say that it breaks apart based on age.
Yeah.
I would say that the older folks in the Jewish community who remember their parents who were in the Holocaust, who feel like the desperate need to have a safe place to where we all know Israel is surrounded by countries that don't want it to exist,
Sure.
period. Right. So they still feel that tie that they feel like can't be broken, and that loyalty that says if we don't have a state that exists for ourselves, and it's the IDF, it's the defense force, right? There's no offense. So if Hamas laid down their weapons, that's the line I hear from older folks. If Hamas laid down their weapons, they'd be done today. Right. So that's their perspective. And then I think the younger generation, who's less connected to the past, who's less connected to the history of the establishment of the state of Israel and why it happened, are feeling like, why is this happening at all? Now, for me, I'm the closest. Think war is ever necessary. I think there's always some way to make things right. But I think. Sorry, did I cut out there for a sec? Okay.
Oh, you're back.
I think I lost you there for a second. I think it breaks apart based on whether you remember the history or not. And it's kind of heartbreaking, because for me, at the end of the day, I just want people to remember that there are people there.
Wow. Wow. Powerful words. Matteline, a powerful conversation. Look, as far as I'm concerned, you are always welcome on Fox 5's Live Zone. Thank you so very much for your takes, for your opinions, for your knowledge. Thank you for joining Fox 5's Live Zone.
Thank you. Thank you, my new friend. So happy to be here.
As Democratic strategist Matteline Somerville, bringing all of the information from President Trump and locally, nationally, and beyond. Again, this is the types of interviews, the types of real conversations you'll only see right here on Fox 5's Live Zone. We'll be right back. What up, my people, and welcome back to Fox 5's Live Zone. Now we have an opportunity to bring on one of my absolute favorite coaches in all of the DMV and beyond. This is Miss Carolyn Wester of Wrestling Prep, WrestlingPrep.com. Head coach, extraordinary story, extraordinary individual. Coach, thank you so very much for taking a couple of moments with us here today.
Thank you for having us. We're really excited.
Now, Coach, I know that you got a huge camp going down right now at Marymount. Before we get to that camp, though, I just want to give the people a little bit of a background information. Like I said, you are a world-renowned, and I'm not being hyperbolic there, a world-renowned wrestling coach. How did you find yourself here?
Well, you're really kind of an interesting story. I had my youngest son wanted to learn how to wrestle. I took him over to Stanford University in Palo Alto, and I enrolled him in youth wrestling. And when I was watching, I felt like I could see components of how athletes use their muscles that would make it more effective for them in competitive wrestling. And I opened my mouth and it took off from there.
Let me be clear here. So what you're saying is that you began this because your own child was interested. You yourself was not a big-time wrestler in your own regard, didn't win any
never.
Olympic gold medals, none of that. You saw it
No.
and then went and developed a philosophy and now this entire structure from there.
That's correct. And it really lucked out because some of the athletes in the Stanford program were super open-minded to what we were doing. And they requested my help, and I was able to work with them. And in 2011, Daniel Cormier called me up and asked me if he could come to my practice and watch me coach. And then he invited me over to the American Kickboxing Academy, and Javier Mendez put me on staff. And then I started quartering in the UFC and doing things all over the world.
Now, what I think is important is for everybody that's watching this right now, if you didn't catch those nuggets, those name drops that Coach just dropped right there, I suggest you go back and Google yourself some Daniel Cormier, etc. et al. And also what I encourage for everybody watching right now to do is that they head to your Instagram page, they look up Wrestling Prep and see some of these dynamic videos, because for me, this is more than wrestling. Coach, I have a 5-year-old son, and I say to myself, I want for my 5-year-old son to come and take lessons from you. Speak to us about what it is that you all do and how what you do is different from what many others do.
Yeah, so we teach by a math-based structure. Normally when people learn to wrestle or learn a combat sport, they're taught technique, but with not a lot of qualification about the type of body an athlete has, like a short waist, long legs, or short legs, long waist. And we apply math and help them develop structures with their body that allows them to be more stable and athletic in combat sports. So when they're learning technique for wrestling, they can actually use the muscles similarly to someone who's been wrestling most of their career or their lives. Like initially when I was at Stanford, there was about a 29-year-old Olympic level athlete there. And then there was some 7th and 8th graders, and their parents would get upset when they couldn't emulate the structure or the success of the technique that the Olympic athlete was doing. And I would watch and say, they're not even using the same muscles. There's no way they could do that. So, how could we apply that and make that happen? And so now we use this methodology and this structure, which we call sequential muscle order, through body leveraging initially to learn how to use our muscles correctly. Then we apply it to technique. And currently here at this camp, we have athletes from 31 states and 3 foreign countries, a professional boxer, world level jiu-jitsu, D1, all the way up. And then we've got 4- and 5-year-olds running around wrestling too, so you can apply it. And just recently in the last year, I've been contacted by the pitching staff of some MLB teams, and I've been working with them on applying sequential muscle order to body leveraging that pitchers could use, or the pitchers they're developing at their national or worldwide academies to become better pitchers.
It's absolutely remarkable. And like you alluded to there, I mean, you have worked with Olympians, you've worked with professionals, you've worked with just about everyone. This camp that's going down right now, you have an opportunity to do more work with youth, more work with kids. Dive a little deeper about what's going down at Marymount.
Yeah, so it's really interesting. This year we decided to go ahead and we have in the past target their mental capacity, mental health, addressing issues like overtraining or not effective nutrition or how do you set boundaries for yourself? And this year we had in world-renowned Tenny McCarty of Shades of Hope and a nurse practitioner, mental health specialist, Melissa Ritchie. And we spent an entire 3 hours working with each athlete and then doing situations and teaching them how to apply boundaries and how to use boundaries and how to speak to themselves and others so they can, live with good mental health and apply it not only toward wrestling, but toward sports. And then last evening, we had about a 2-hour conversation about the correct way to eat more to make weight. So the big philosophy always is in wrestling is deprivation, but actuality is the opposite. If you're eating to fuel your body, the amount you need to eat, the way your body metabolizes actually lets you get to the more effective lean weight without having the calorie deficit or, withdraw from water, which is sort of the old school way to do things. And at the camp actually itself, it's our second one. We have one more at the end of August, middle of August 11th, August 15th. But what we're doing now is we have an athlete I worked with for many years, Aaron Gadara here, and we're applying the body leveraging that they've learned to specific technique that works against the best math-based body position an opponent can have. And that's usually not the case. We're sort of, I don't know, Consumer Reports for wrestling. If we learn something or somebody's doing something, we try to build a structure with our body and see if we can make their structure ineffective. And that's what we've been focusing on this 5 days here at Marymount University.
My gosh, Coach, I mean, when I just listened to that right there, you're talking about physicality, you're talking about mental health, you're talking about nutrition. That is the holistic of the student athlete. I used to be an athlete, nothing like what y'all do on at your camp, but I used to be a student athlete. So when you look at that holistic approach, why is that important?
It's so important because we've now developed into a country with an education system in high school and collegiate sports that has been very pared down. No longer can high school coaches or even college coaches or middle school coaches do and say things and provide for athletes with limited budgets and, a very specific amount of time they're allowed to work with an athlete. Wrestling prep actually was to help people prepare for wrestling. So focusing on mental health, focusing on nutrition, doing things that our overworked high school coaches and middle school coaches cannot provide is something we take seriously. So when we ended up developing this system, this body leveraging sequential muscle order system that sort of revolutionizing the way people can do combat sports, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, striking, any sport really, we did not want to let go of what we really started originally was to be ancillary to a wrestling program and teach kids how to be recruited for college, what grades matter. We used to have SAT and ACT prep courses at our big camps. And now this huge focus on mental health because we can see a difference in the student athletes with the onset of iPhones and other, electronic equipment that is teaching them to have a minimized attention span. It seems to trigger a serotonin response, but that's not conducive to being a good academic student, and it's not conducive to being a good athlete. So addressing these things, explaining to them the actual what happens to their physical body, how what they eat, takes away from what they're trying to achieve is, I think, very important if we're trying to develop a group of young people who go on to be athletes, who go on to serve our country or to be good parents if we let that go. And because I'm not a high school coach, I do this full time. I'm not trying to take care of other people in my life. Then I can do this and we can provide these things and we take it very seriously.
Absolutely love it. And again, for every single one of those reasons are the reasons why not only are you one of my favorite coaches of all time, but also someone that I would entrust my own son with if and when that opportunity arises.
Well,
Coach, I'm getting you out of here.
I'm looking forward to you trying.
You know what? We are going to make that happen. I'm going to come out and do some of that body leverage stuff. You just got to make sure that I don't break myself, Coach, so that I can continue working for the rest of the week. Again, everybody out there, go check out Wrestling Prep on Instagram so that you can see more videos and potentially get interested as well. Quickly, Coach, before we go, to every parent out there, every student athlete, every professional athlete out there that is interested in your brand, why should they come give you a call?
Yeah, because we're going to take it on a very serious note. We're going to try to ascertain what you want to achieve, and we're going to put together a methodology and a structure that you could use in any phase of life. We have a lot of people who work with us that are over 50, and we have some who start with their kids as early as 4 or 5. And we take it very seriously. We're happy to work with everyone. We're going to teach them to have hope and feel confident in what they're doing. And yeah, I'm going to do the very best I can. Very happy to do it.
For those over 50 and those as young as 4 or 5, that age range fits right around the age ranges of me and my son. So you might have us covered. Coach, thank you so very much for taking a moment with us right here on Fox 5's Live Zone.
Thank you.
Coach Carolyn Wester, again, check out Wrestling Prep on Instagram as well as wrestlingprep.com. It's Fox 5's Live Zone. We'll be right back. Happy Friday. Welcome back to Fox 5's Live Zone. Joining me, the superstar. Now, you used to know him as Producer Chris, but I'll tell you what, life is all about growth. It's all about development. And Producer Chris, you've glowed up. I think that's what the kids are calling it.
Director Antonio has been calling me Hollywood, Chris. Which,
Hollywood.
It's not the worst nickname
like
in the world,
I
except
actually,
for its association with the late Hulk Hogan, which
true.
a lot of,
That's
that's when he went heel. We don't need to go down that road. However, Producer Chris is fine. I'm sticking with it because it's still going to be a part of what I do every day. We're going to talk about that kind of new gig coming up here in just a second.
But before
first, let's talk about what to watch this weekend. Then we'll talk about what you're going to watch next week. We're going to start off with a little blast from the past. Every time I come on here and I talk to this man right here about what to watch, he says, I've never seen it. Not going to watch it. I don't watch anything. This is one thing maybe he has seen and maybe he will watch.
Here we go.
Take a look.
How are you going to put Vienna through ballet school? It's $75,000 a year. That's 4 years. That's 333 grand.
That's terrible math, Johnny. It's 300 grand.
I wouldn't even know where to start.
Let them see the happy I fell in love with.
Come on, you gotta do it, Dad. All right, let's go. Let's go get him, Dad.
What about the jig?
I know how to do it, Dad. Let's go. Oh, Dad, I got this.
Happy Gilmore is back. That is part of the trailer for Happy Gilmore 2, streaming now on Netflix. Adam Sandler back along with returning stars Julie Bowen, Christopher McDonald, aka Shooter McGavin, Ben Stiller also back, and then we are talking a who's who of some of the biggest names in professional athletics. We are talking golfers like Rory McIlroy, Bryson DeChambeau. You saw a little man named John Daly in that trailer. Also, Bad Bunny. I know he's not an athlete, but a huge
might
name.
as well be.
And the man is just, he branches out into everything. He is far from just a musician. Also, Travis Kelce. He got a lot of attention when it was announced that he was going to be in this, because we know he has been trying to take on more acting roles as well. Plenty of others. Like I said, streaming now on Netflix.
Right now.
I will just tell you right now, the reviews, what you would expect for an Adam Sandler movie. It has been 29 years since the first one. The first one, I will say, an absolute cult classic.
Yes.
You've seen it?
I have seen it.
Yeah.
This is like one of the few times where I'd say
He's never seen anything I talk about.
Not only did I see it, but I enjoyed it, I liked it, and I had heard much of those criticisms. There were people a year ago that were saying, oh, they're remaking this movie, they can only mess it up.
Yeah. This is a question that I have when it comes to these sort of, they call them legacy sequels, where it's somebody revisiting a character from their past. There are times that it has worked very successfully.
That's right.
Top Gun Maverick, Rocky Balboa.
Yes.
The Creed, you know, one of probably the earliest that I can think of was a movie called The Color of Money, which was based on another movie called The Hustler. This was Paul Newman, Tom Cruise as well in the 1986 version of it. But for every one of those, you also have and I'm sorry to say, a Coming to America with Eddie Murphy, where people didn't quite love it as much as the first one. So yeah, it's up for debate. I think sometimes familiar characters like this can just feel, it makes you feel good. I know a lot of people are probably going to tune into this one, to be honest with you.
It's a really nice way to describe Coming to America, too. It's a really nice way to do it.
A very political way to describe it as well. All right, so that's your first option this weekend. Next up, we have a globe-trotting historical fiction adventure series, and it stars the man who was in my favorite show of the year so far. We're talking about Sterling K. Brown. This is called Washington Black. It is based on a best-selling novel of the same name, and it tells the story of George Washington Black, aka Wash, as he escapes enslavement from Barbados and goes on this worldwide adventure. This one jumps back and forth between two timelines.
Yeah, man.
Sterling K. Brown plays someone he meets as an adult. You can check this one out on Hulu. Now, I mentioned one of my favorite shows of the year so far was Sterling K. Brown, also on Hulu, Paradise. If I can recommend one show this year, it would be that. The episode 7, oh man.
Really?
Once you make it, trust me.
I've heard great things about Paradise. I actually want to check that out, and I want to check out this one here. I'm a huge Sterling K. Brown fan.
Yeah.
Really dynamic actor.
And also, and one of my favorite, and this isn't even a criticism, one of the most unnecessarily jacked guys you will ever see in your entire life. He's got a shower scene in Paradise. Let me just tell you that right now. But like, the joke is that he's always playing like an accountant or something. He's like somebody behind the desk. Then he takes the shirt off and boom.
And you're like, wow.
Looks like this guy over here.
Maybe 10 years ago. Gotcha.
All right, let's take a look at what else we've got coming up here on this streaming as well. All the Queen's Men. This is season 4, part 2. You know Eva Marcille right there. Used to join us on a fairly regular basis on the Good Day at 10A.
Wow.
Back in the days when she was with Dish Nation. This is on BET+. Then we have The Hunting Wives. This is kind of like a thriller. This is on Netflix. This is Brittany Snow, Malin Ackerman, and Chrissy Metz, who was also in This Is Us with Sterling K. Brown. Then we've got Hitmakers on Netflix. This is sort of like a docuseries / reality show that involves a group of songwriters kind of competing to have songs that will be performed by some global superstars like John Legend and the DMV's own Shaboozey. All right, next up, also on Netflix, we've got Sandman Season 2, Part 2. This is also the final season. If you're a fan, you don't need me explaining it to you. Then we have the third and final season of Acapulco on Apple TV+. This is Eugenio Derbez, who is a world-famous Mexican actor slash comedian. He was in things like Coda, you may remember him. He was the teacher, the music teacher at the school. And then we have Judge Judy, for all of her fans, Justice on Trial. This is where they reenact high-profile cases like the Menendez brothers, for example, and they put the American criminal justice system on trial.
Oh, I love it.
I know. It's
anything
Judge
with
Judy.
Judge
People
Judy.
love Judge Judy. Also, she got paid when she went over to Amazon. So
wow. Okay.
This is her new thing.
Look, I love that, and as you alluded to, I don't watch very much TV. So Eva
Marcille.
Is that the young lady from America's Top Model from years ago?
I think that is actually.
Okay, we'll have to look into that.
She has absolutely, her career has just up and up and up. Most recently, she was in studio because she was in a new stage play that was kind of traveling around. The name is slipping my mind. If you remember, let us know. Hashtag Fox 5 Live Zone. All right, so that was all the things you can watch this weekend.
That's this weekend.
That's this weekend.
But we got something coming up, Chris.
Monday night.
Oh, boy.
7:30, right here on Fox Local. The same place you watch the Fox 5 Live Zone, whether it's streaming on YouTube, whether it's on Fox Local, wherever you watch it on our website. We've got a new show. It is called Do You Like It or Not? This is the third installment in what I've been calling the Like It or Not cinematic universe that started with the OG Like It or Not back in 2018. Then we have the Like It or Not Lunch Hour, aka the Lion Lunch Hour, where you can catch Chad. I mean, it used to be every Thursdays. I don't know what it is anymore because I'm not producing
pop up in the kitchen now. Yes.
The one thing different about this show is the you in the Do You Like It or Not? Okay, listen, we've heard from Chad. We will continue to hear from Chad, but I want to hear from you. You can weigh in. What we're going to do.
I'm excited.
What we're going to do on Monday, I'm going to put out there a Zoom meeting ID.
Oh boy.
And I want people to log in and join the show live and react to the stories that we do. We'll have a couple of guests here with me. Oh, that's the other thing. I forgot to mention. I'm not just producing it, I'm also hosting it. So you can catch that weeknights at 7:30 after the OG Lion right here on Fox Local.
Hollywood Chris.
And you can be a part of it. Don't forget. Also, follow me on TikTok and Instagram, Fox 5 Producer Chris, because I'm going to be reading your comments live on the air as well.
That's
also
what I'm talking
on
about.
our YouTube page. So, look, keep it clean, but share your hot takes. I want it to get a little unhinged.
Don't just watch the show, be a part of the show. I think that this is monumental. This is taking things to the next level.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
With our streaming, and for those of you watching out there, you already know this. Streaming is not what's next. Streaming is what's now. So I give you credit. I give us here at Fox 5 Fox Local credit for bringing the community in and being a part
Gotta
of the
meet
show.
people where they are, and where they are is on their phones, they're on their smart TVs, and that's where you will find us as well.
That's right. And you, because you can be a part of this show.
So it could be a two-screen experience for you. If you're watching on your TV, have your phone ready. You can zoom in right on it. We'll see how it goes.
I am more excited about this now than I was 10 minutes ago.
All right, well, you can join too. You know that. And
Do you like it or not?
Do you like it or not? I love it.
I love it already as well. Debuting on Monday
7:30.
No matter where you watch us, where you're watching us right now, check that out then.
Thank you.
Congratulations, brother.
I appreciate it very much.
I love it. Producer Chris, Hollywood Chris.
We never even talked about his Birkenstocks with a suit.
Booyah! Check that out.
Anyone can pull it off. It's this man right here. Let me know if you like that or not.
Tune in to Chris's show coming up Monday at 7:30. Fox 5's Live Zone. We'll be right back. Excellent. Welcome back to Fox 5's Live Zone. Again, shout out to producer Chris as he's talking about his show. It's going to be debuting Monday at 7:30. Do you like it or not, with the emphasis on the you? That is certainly something that you should check out. But speaking of things and people that you should check out, we are bringing on my girl, Poet Taylor, to bring all of the new celebrity news with this celebrity dish situation. Poe, how are you feeling today on this Friday?
You know, I was feeling good until I saw this lighting and thought, I don't look good enough for what I'm about to do and who I'm about to stand next to. So while we get into this first story, I'm going to adjust the lighting because the girl must be seen, okay?
I know what you're talking about there, and you look absolutely fantastic here today, Poet, so I thank you for joining us here. We are going to start with a little bit of Travis and Taylor information here, because after nearly 2 years of dating, the two of them are Instagram official. He posted a picture of the two looking cozy together while sitting at a table, and that's not the only surprise in store for fans. Eagle-eyed followers noticed that Travis's cell phone wallpaper is a picture of the couple. Poe, how you feeling?
I think Shanti and Nelly did it first, but this is cute though. See, I told you, Chad, I had to find some better lights. So this is cute for me because you know it ain't official till it's Instagram official. They're not the only ones. You saw Aaron and Tiana posting their pictures. I just want to know, Chad, when will it be my time to post my Instagram official picture with somebody other than my dog Savage? But I'm here for it though.
Poet,
so they know that we know that they're still strong.
Poet, you and I have photos together from some 12, 14 years ago. You can post one of those.
So you are off the market like bad meat. So no, we can't. No, you ain't street meat no more, remember? So no.
I got you. I got you. Bad meat, not street meat no more. That was a good recall. I like that. All right. Speaking of potentially bad meat, I want to talk to you about Justin Timberlake, bro, because I woke up, checked my phone, and I was terribly disappointed to see these photos and these videos of what appeared to be a bad performance by my man, Justin Timberlake, up there on stage. Looked like he was halfway going through the motions. I even tried to tell myself, this is not real. He was warming up, and somebody filmed his warm-up and said that it was real, but there are receipts out there of Justin Timberlake giving a half-tail effort out there on stage.
So this is what I will say. We all done had our down days, our bad days. You don't know what that man going through. We know that he can't beat his feet, but we've seen him perform enough that we know he can bang just a little bit. I think this is an opportunity for us to give people grace. What if he announced tomorrow that he's getting a divorce? Or tomorrow he announces something wrong with his voice? What happened to the village that used to be like, oh, that sucks, better luck next time, versus let's drag you at your worst moment? I ain't the biggest JT fan because I feel like he gave Janet an L that she carried forever. But for this, who knows what was happening? Who knows what happened? Most of the shows we watch, our favorites at them award shows, be lip syncing, off key, off note, off script. So give JT some love. You don't know what's going on with that man, but that voice ain't what it used to be. That joint gone bye, bye, bye. Oh, I'm sorry.
Poe, I'm not going to argue with you because what you say goes, but as a performer, as we know, we can't afford to have no bad days, bro. When we get up here, when that light comes on, no matter what you're feeling, it's go time out there.
I mean, raise your hand if you've ever had a bad show.
All right.
A bad moment.
Okay.
That you wanted to bounce back from. I'm going to slowly lower my hand because my daddy had said, those who have rocks can't throw stones from a glass house. I don't want JT second me. The Lord knows earlier today on my show there was some fumbleinas, but I bounced back.
All right. Well, I got you. If Poet says to give him a break, I'm going to give him a break. All right. Maybe get you out of here on this. We'll see if we can get to one or two more of these. I want to ask you about Tia Mowry, though. This, of course, you go back to the show that her and her twin sister had on and whatnot. Well, she is absolutely clapping back at the haters. The actress recently addressed criticism she faced after labeling herself a quote-unquote single mom. Tia split from actor Corey Hardrick back in 2022 after 14 years of marriage. In a shared Instagram post, Tia went on to explain that being a solo parent, in her definition, doesn't mean doing it all alone, but rather acknowledges the weight of her responsibilities, saying, quote, "I'm holding it down for everyone at home. I'm the only parent present day to day. Give me your thoughts, then I got to give you mine."
mean, I hear what you're saying. I really thought she meant that she was single, like I'm single to mingle and I'm a mother. But I don't think it's fair to say that you are a single parent when you have another parent that you're co-parenting with. Regardless of what the setup may look like or who has the kid the most time, or 80, 20, 70, 30, to say I'm a single parent kind of came across as like you were throwing your ex in front of the bus of not showing up as a dad and he's not around, and that's not the case. And we really don't want to use words like that when that's not our situation, taken away from real parents out here who are solo dolo and thugging it out with just them in the village that surrounds them. So can't wait to hear what you say.
No, actually, I'm really happy that you had that take. Means that I don't need to talk much because I feel the same exact way, Poet. There's a thing for some of these mothers and or fathers out here who truly are solo parents doing it by themselves. If you're simply separated, but you all are doing it in a co-parenting situation, to me, that's not a single parent out here. So, Poet, me and you were on the same team here.
With me and Savage, I am a single parent out here in these streets.
That's what's up. All right, well, Poet, I tell you what, we only got about 30 seconds left, so before you leave, tell everybody where they can find more Poet, which is what the world is looking for.
52 midday shenanigans on PGC, Odyssey app, iHeartRadio app, Dish Nation, Fox 5 Plus, weekdays, 10 a.m. Smiles on the South Side is coming back this August. Back to school joining us tomorrow. All roads lead to Bike Fest. WPGC celebrating 25 years. Maryland International Raceway. Backyard, mumbo sauce, all that, then some. Be there or be mad by the recaps.
The busiest and arguably the best, doing it in all platforms, the lovely, phenomenal Poet Taylor. Thank you so very much, Poe.
Yeah.
Coming up next on a Live Zone, we got more for you. It's a Friday, and the party's just getting started. Happy Friday to my peoples and welcome back to Fox 5's Live Zone. I am Chad Ricardo in for Guy Lambert here today. And if you know anything about me, you know that I love the youth. I love those that give back to the youth and those that invest in the community to help to elevate them to another space. Well, I got two of those brothers with me right now. We've got Jordan Peebles, the minister and Blue Squad captain, as well as Jason Crawford, Glad TV, preacher and musician as well. Fellas, thank you for coming on into Fox 5's Live Zone.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having us.
So we're going to go ahead and start this with the bricks of what's going on. We're talking about NextFest. Jordan, what is NextFest? Why is this something people should be excited about?
I think people should be excited about NextFest because in the DC, Maryland, and Virginia area, I think that there is a yearning for young adults who want to be in authentic spaces. And when it comes to authentic spaces where people are loving, where people are kind, and where people are gracious, the characteristics of Christ, I believe that our church and specifically our young adults really mirror those characteristics. So when it comes to creating a fun environment where people can just love God and they can worship and they can have fun and feel accepted and loved, that is why NextFest is so special and why I feel as though all the youth and young adults in this area should at least try to experience it.
When I hear about NextFest, when I see these the videos and the pictures as well, it kind of takes me back to my childhood, raised in the church that really gave me a lot of the stability that I used later on as an adult, just from a character perspective. So from that perspective, how is NextFest being used to reach the youth?
Right. So when it comes to being able to provide programming for the youth, you want to make sure that you are implementing components that help their spiritual morality, but also helps them in their social context. So when it comes to that, we meet the needs of these individuals by making environments that are inclusive, by making environments that allow children to have, youth and young adults to have fun. And then we also have a bunch of different interactive things that we like to do, such as the prayer rooms, such as photo booths, and everything where we are providing a community for our youth and young adults. And I think that that's one of the things that makes us special, is being able to provide an authentic community where when people come in, they genuinely feel accepted. And if the body of Christ can't do that, I don't know who can.
What I see here and what I love is I think that it's always important to meet individuals where they are. And what it looks like from the outside with NextFest is that if you're a young person and you still like to have a good time, you still like to, almost party in a sense, why not party in an atmosphere that's also conducive to you raising your spirits as well, which is what it is that I see in these photos and videos. So from that perspective, and Jason, we got to get you in here as well. What do you all hope that attendees leave with? How are you all impacting them?
Thank you for asking me that question, man. I think the goal is for them to leave knowing that we set the trend, we don't follow it. That everything we do is fun, it's freeing, but it comes with a purpose. Everyone leaves with learning about the gospel. After we have our fun, after we do the dancing and stuff like that, we understand that the whole key purpose of all of this is you meet people where they are, but then you bring them to where they should be. I always say, like, it's easier to say I walked a mile in your shoes until I met someone that taught me how to change shoes.
Wow, it's absolutely phenomenal. I love that message. And we'll go ahead and we'll get you all out of here on this because, Jason, with everything that's going down with NextFest, you preached last night. You had an opportunity to not only see this on paper, but to see it and to feel it in person. What should attendees, what should everyone anticipate from the concert that's going down?
Oh, I wish I could sing. I would have had a concert last night, but listen, tonight is going to be absolutely insane in a good way. We got people that are not just talented, but anointed. They live what they sing. They believe what they sing. They hold themselves accountable with what they sing. And it's just where music is creative. Everything is different. Everything is live. Y'all, they got pyro. This church has pyro effects. Like, it's crazy. It's in a great way, like, for real.
Jason, you're being modest. You have a degree in music, so I expect to see you up there tonight.
Love it.
Not
love
for free, Doc. I can't.
No, look, I love everything about this. Again, as I began this conversation, anything and anybody that is about the upliftment of the youth, I'm certainly a fan of that, and it appears as though NextFest is bringing that in. Jordan, you got 15 seconds. Give us one more reason for why individuals should look into NextFest.
Because I honestly feel as though when you walk into the doors of NextFest, your life will not be the same. From the energy that you feel, to the people that you meet, from the experiences that you have, it is a unforgettable experience. It reminds me of being on your favorite roller coaster at a theme park, going up, the anticipation that you get, and then finally going down on that drop, just having that relief and the joy from all that anticipation. I think that's similar to NextFest when it comes to the thrill that you get from being in that environment.
That's what's up. 2025 NextFest going down, uplifting the community. Jordan and Jason, thank you all so very much as you take a look at the information there on the screen. Thank you all.
Thank you for having us.
Fox 5's Live Zone keeps it rolling in just a moment. Welcome back to Fox 5's Live Zone. We told you that we're going to talk about a little bit of everything on today's show. Well, we're going to dive a little deeper into the Epstein files because today, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche is meeting with Ghislaine Maxwell for a second time. Yesterday, prosecutors sat down with the former girlfriend of Jeffrey Epstein to see if she'd reveal any new information about his sex crimes investigation. Joining us now to discuss is political strategist Armen Kurdian. Greetings, Armen. Thank you so very much for taking a moment with us again here on Fox 5's Live Zone.
Welcome, Chad. Let's get to it.
Let's get right down to it, and we can start right there. Just point blank, flat out, what do you anticipate coming from this meeting's the second of which is going down?
Not to be flippant, but I foresee a lot of money for a lot of media companies reporting on this salacious story. Frankly, what I think a lot of folks are hoping to get from these meetings, or what they're hoping to hear from, is that maybe Ghislaine Maxwell has definitive, substantive information on people who are actual clients of the sex trafficking ring. And I think a lot of folks, especially some of these victims, are very hopeful that she doesn't get any kind of commutation of her sentence. She did some absolutely awful things.
Yeah.
Maybe she gets better quality of quarters, maybe she gets better food. But what is a list? What's not a list? Who's on there? It's a veritable who's who of the people who've been associated with him in one way or the other. But of course, it doesn't mean that they actually engaged in anything nefarious. So it's a big back and forth. It's got a lot of interest on both sides of the aisle, and I think this dynamic's absolutely fascinating to watch it play out.
Feels like there is such a large gray area here with all of this conversation, even more so than with typical talking points that go down within this administration. To that point, President Trump took it to Truth Social on yesterday and accused the Democrats of using this to distract from some of the great things that, in his own words, that his administration is accomplishing right now. Do you believe that there's validity to the Democrats using this as a distraction, or is this indeed President Trump distracting from what may be there?
I think there's some. If you look at Senator Schumer's comments about how Trump is guilty of everything that he's accusing the other side of, I think that might be the most ironic comment coming from the Democrat senatorial leader. But at the same time, his own administration said, there was a list. There was not a list of the communication strategy that's come out of the administration. Hasn't necessarily been the best. I honestly don't know that there's really much of a political advantage on either side of the aisle to use this. Because if you look at the people who have been mentioned in these files, it goes from President Trump to Bill Clinton to Bill Richardson to Stephen Hawking to Kevin Spacey, Prince Andrew, and a whole host of others. So I don't know that anybody has anything actually to gain. And I'm frankly disappointed that both sides are actually trying to use this for political reasons instead of saying, hey, we have to go after the people who actually did something wrong and were, committed some awful crimes or participated in this business. That is something I think the public needs to know. But at the same time, and they were talking about, hey, let's release all the files, let's put it out there. You want to be careful of that because, the guy who did Epstein's dry cleaning probably had no knowledge of what he was doing. If his name is in there, you could ruin his life or her life, so to speak. So there is a measure of care that does need to be done when you're releasing some of these grand jury files.
And you spoke of the Clintons there, as this again is potentially a web that entangles so many. The Wall Street Journal reported that Bill Clinton wrote one of the birthday letters to Epstein back in 2003. A House panel has voted in favor of subpoenaing former President Bill Clinton as well as former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton in the investigation of Maxwell. Does this spell trouble for the Clintons, or again, is this just all fodder?
It might spell a little bit of trouble, but again, the question is, I'm not necessarily a big fan of Hillary Clinton, but did she know what he was doing? I would venture to guess that she probably didn't. But does she know something that might help bring someone to justice? And if that was the case, if she had some kind of information, I would venture to guess she would want to be very forthcoming about that. In fact, I think anybody in their right mind, assuming they're of sound moral values, would want to be as forthcoming as they possibly could about what's actually going on. In a lot of these kinds of situations, you see a lot of these people who are there trying to distance themselves and say, I didn't really know, I wasn't part of it. And that's all fine and well and good. But at the same time, perhaps, besides that, to say, hey, I had no idea of what was going on. I'm happy to speak to the Attorney General, to law enforcement, FBI, whomever it needs to be, if I know anything that could possibly help find this investigation, or get this investigation going and bring people to actual justice who need to be prosecuted and put in jail.
The people that are in the know say that one of the reasons that this may not ever be resolved is due to mutually assured destruction on both sides of the aisle, which is why we may never see too much more of this. But that is the latest on the Epstein files. Armian Kurdian, thank you so very much for stopping by Fox 5's Live Zone.
Thanks. Have a great weekend.
Coming up, we've got Tailgate Ted. He's in the building. I tell you what, I would say it's rare on Fox 5's Live Zone to have royalty in the building, but I know how big this show is, and you all have royalty here all the time. But football royalty, burgundy and gold royalty, man of the people. They called you a super fan, Ted. I don't think that does you justice. Tailgate Ted, Fox 5's Live Zone. How are you, brother?
I'm good, Chad. I'm good. Thanks for having me in, man.
Well, Ted, and I speak of that royalty because prior to yesterday, I mean, you were big time. Everybody knew your name. Everybody knew who you were. But yesterday, you introed the mayor, bro.
It was surreal.
What was that like?
It was surreal. They called me up the night before.
Yeah.
I'm literally on the pickleball court, just having a good time. And they said, would you be interested in introducing the mayor for a pep rally? We can't really talk about what's going on. That's all the details we can give you. And I said, of course, just when and where. That's all I need to know. They didn't tell me until the next morning.
Wow.
So I beat my opponent.
Sure.
Went home. I had to throw that part in there. Went home and then wrote up a quick little speech and showed up at the Wilson building. It was great.
Now, for everybody that's out there watching, first of all, of course, this was in relation to the stadium, the proposed stadium deal, the Washington Commanders coming home back to the old RFK site. Mayor Bowser giving her comments, Tailgate Ted able to introduce that. But there are people at home that are wondering what I'm wondering right now. When you get that call, does it come from like a block number? Does it come by the bat phone? Where does that call come from?
It was just a random 202 number.
Got you.
I don't want to say who from the office called me.
We don't want to say nothing like that.
At that point, but it's, you always have to answer. You never know what's going on.
Yeah.
And thankfully, they asked me to do it because I love this city. I'm a proud Washingtonian, and I love this team. And for me, it was two of my worlds colliding. And to be a part of that moment, to try and electrify the people ahead of time and galvanize everyone to really the cause of what's best for our city, in my opinion, I'll do it 1,000 out of 1,000 times.
Hey, let's go ahead and dive deeper into that because, again, you are a lifelong Washington football fan. If there was a literal version of bleeding burgundy and gold, I feel confidently that is what would come out of your arms. So, Ted, what does it mean to you? What does it mean to this fan base for this to now be nearly officially official that the team is coming back home?
Well, it means I can stop picking fights with the DC Council, number one.
Yes.
Because, I've been asking them, let's please get this vote done.
Ted, you also said that you might have to run yourself. I saw that. Pick up the socials, the receipts. Ted said if you don't vote this in, I'm coming for one of the spots.
I'm still thinking about it.
There
Not
we
going to
go.
lie.
All
I kind of got a little taste of it the other day.
Yeah.
But it means potentially $750 million in revenue if they get this thing open by 2030.
That's right.
It means revitalizing a blight on this city. And the fastest way to do that is a $2.75 billion private investment from Josh Harris.
That's right.
Right? In Josh we trust. I mean, it means that something generational can truly happen and make us the sports capital of the world, in my opinion. And it means the Washington football franchise can come back to its rightful home, Washington, D.C.
Ted, this is all flowers and roses and butterflies and bees that we're talking right now. I gotta bring a bit of a rain cloud on this right here. I gotta bring a bit of a rain cloud because for all of the people that I talk to, the Commanders fans, the Washington football fans, they love this except for one thing. What's your name?
Tailgate Ted.
And they say if the tailgating is damaged, then this might be a deal breaker for them.
I get that.
Yeah.
And Tailgate Ted, trust me, I mean, I am concerned about it. I have met with the team's head architects, lead architects about this. I've talked to them about thinking outside the box, right? They mentioned the parking garages that are going to happen, the parking space that are eventually all going to be parking garages. I've talked to them about, let's put electric griddles on that rooftop, communal griddles that we can all use on that rooftop, because you can't put propane, you can't put charcoal up there. So let's try and come up with some ideas. I've met with director of DPR to try and think of ways where we can still tailgate, where we can still congregate and come together as a fan base. So is it going to be the same as Northwest? No, we just don't have the space.
It's not the same, right?
But are we still going to be able to have some form of tailgating? Yes.
Yeah.
So let's just calm down. This is what is best for this team and what's best for this city. Let's get these votes done, and then we'll iron out all those other details after the fact.
I'm going to be honest with you, and the reason why this always has truly perked my ear to it is because I went to the game in Detroit. I covered that game in Detroit, and so for the tailgating, for that proud fan base in that beautiful Ford Field, the tailgating is going down in different spots all over the city that you got to kind of bust to, not in one centralized location. And Ted, on Sundays when the matches are at Northwest Stadium, Sunday, Saturday, whenever the games are, we are there at Fox 5 walking around Northwest Stadium. You can check that out on Fox Local as well, meeting with the people, and it is a special event. Tailgating, if you don't tailgate, it's bigger than just eating and drinking. It is a community event. Got to find a way to keep that a part of this football.
We do. And trust me, I will just speak to ownership and everyone as much as I possibly can to make sure that what is realistically feasible for the fan base can still continue. And look, if you're a Commanders fan, a Washington fan, a Redskins fan, you believe Burgundy Gold, you are nothing but resilient.
That's right.
We will find a way to overcome. We will find a way to still congregate, still come together as a fan base, and still tailgate. It might not be what we're used to, but trust me, we'll be out there. Those grills will be lit. Those drinks will be cold, and we're going to be out there cheering on Jaden and whoever else is on this team.
What I love about you, and this is why I called you royalty here, Burgundy and Gold royalty, is because you have casually dropped in the fact that you talk to Mayor Bowser's people and that you'll just talk to Josh Harris's people about what it is that needs. I'll just talk to Josh. I'll give him a call. We'll wrap up what needs to happen there. But before we get you out of here, I want to ask you, of course, because training camp going down right now. I've had an opportunity to be out there the prior 2 days. I'm here with you here today. What are you excited about? Will you be at any of the fan days coming up?
So I'll be there on Tuesday and Thursday this upcoming week. Yep. Hopefully on Monday the 4th, still trying to find passes to get in. But honestly, I'm excited to be back amongst our fellow fans.
That's right.
I'm just excited to be back around the Burgundy and Gold.
Yes.
We're not going to see anything from a player perspective at training camp.
No, you don't.
Right? They're not going to show you any X's and O's. That's partially because fans will not put their phones down and they want to be you.
That's right.
And putting videos up online and they want to get those hits.
Sure.
So because of that, they're not going to actually do anything spectacular.
That's right.
But I also, played a little bit of football back in the day.
There we go.
I want to see how Coleman is adjusting. Where is he? I want to see Andrew Wiley, how that position battle's going. I want to see which one of those two guys is actually playing better at right guard.
That's right.
Sam Cosme probably won't be ready week 1.
That's right.
So we'll see how that goes. And is there someone else that can step up just in case 17's not around come week 1? That's what I'm looking forward to catching.
Yeah, and of course that Terry McLaurin story, that is the huge story. What are your thoughts there? What's your message to Scary Terry?
Terry, do what's best for you, right? I understand that your salary, the $15.5 million, none of it is guaranteed. And we all just saw what happened a couple of years ago to Reuben Foster, got hurt in OTAs and got nothing. Fans don't understand if Terry gets hurt in training camp, the team can cut him, and he gets none of his salary.
Yes.
He gets the signing bonus, but none of his salary. And knowing that he's under contract, a contract for a football player is not the same thing as you and me.
No, it's not.
So it drives me crazy that some of the fan base is turning on him. And frankly, we don't know enough as a fan or anyone just to come to a conclusion of what's going on. Everything is hypothetical right now.
Sure.
What has Peters proposed? What is Terry wanting? I don't know. All I know is we have adults in charge.
Yes.
Let them do what needs to be done.
Man, I could talk to you about that for the next 20 minutes. There are so many layers of that. Final question on the Commander/the stadium. Von Miller. Now, he spoke for the first time at the podium on yesterday.
For a
I
while.
had to tell you this. Not only is Von Miller an excellent pass rusher, if you want to hear an interview, go listen to Von Miller, because the man can talk and poetically for hours and hours. Your thoughts on Von Miller being that potential piece to get us over the top?
The veteran leadership that we lost with John Allen leaving this team in this locker room, Von, and this is no knock on John, Von just brings so much more than what John did with all this past experience. I mean, he said it himself. It's got to be something special for him to leave Josh Allen.
That's right.
In Buffalo.
He said that, yeah.
Right. So he's here and he knows why this team is so special and why these veterans want to come play here. Because of 5 and because of the magic that young man can do in year 2. And he said it himself. He can roll out of bed and still rush that passer.
That's the best quote ever from Von Miller.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I still going to take some time getting used to him in 24.
In 24.
But I'm looking forward to seeing him rush Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott, just everyone else out there we got to come up against this year.
And for everyone, the Commanders fans out there, 36 years of age, yes. Number one, he's phenomenal career. But number two, he's likely not going to be used on those 1st and 10s, those 2nd and 5s, Ted. They're going to bring him in situations that he goes and has one job. Let's go get the quarterback.
Amen. Yeah, that's what we need him to do. I mean, it's just going to help out that secondary even more.
All right, so Ted, you were scheduled to get out of here. Do you have 10 more minutes, or do you need to go right now? You can stay?
I can stay.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you can stay, we're going to talk more football. We're talking Commanders football right now.
Let's go.
The Washington Commanders have desires to get to that Super Bowl, to that championship game. Well, there's a DC football team that is playing in a championship game this weekend. It's the DC Divas, and joining us from Canton, we got Lois Cook in the building. Lois, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. I hope you can hear me okay. It is a jam-packed weekend out here in Canton, Ohio at the Pro Football Hall of Fame Stadium. Right now we have other games going on. It's the D3 division. Richmond is playing Oklahoma, but tomorrow the DC Divas will be playing against St. Louis. St. Louis is the defending champions, but the DC Divas got something up our sleeves. So I think we're going to pull it off.
Lois, number one, it's as if you have a future career in this whole television thing. I love the way that you just set all of that up and knocked it down on yourself doing that whole one-woman show out there. This Divas squad, you all have been special all year long, including in last game with a thrilling comeback victory. What was that like when you all were down double digits? Did you have doubt, or did you believe in this team, and why?
Oh my goodness. Listen, there's never a moment of no hope, right? This team is locked in, and we will always be locked in as long as there's time left on the clock. But that game was insane. I mean, they're calling it the biggest comeback in sports history, down so much. And then at the end, I remember being on the field when we scored our final touchdown to bring the game closer. It was 34-35 or 33-34 or something like that. Don't quote me on that. But when we pulled off that final 2-point conversion, now I was in the huddle, and I'll tell you what, I was like, listen, if we're going to do this, we got to do this. We can't get this wrong. But Amanda Congialdi, our quarterback number 6, she knew it, she felt it, and then she locked it in, and she was able to execute. We pulled it off, and I was boo-hoo sobbing. I was crying my eyes out for 55 seconds left on the clock, all the way until we pulled it off. This team is something special. And when I tell you we don't give up, we don't give up. This team is we're hungry, we got the drive, and we know what we want. We're 3-time Super Bowl champions already, well, national champions for the WFA. But we are also, it's our 25th year anniversary, so it's a special year.
Lois, Tailgate's Head here. How you doing? Good to see you.
Good to see you.
So I've had a chance to go to a DC Divas game, watch you all out there. Rich Daniels is a good friend of mine. For those of our watchers right now that have not, can you give me some reasons why they need to be out there and support you all on that field?
Okay, this is a team full of multi-talented women. I'm talking about women from all different walks of life, different backgrounds. We have grandmothers, mothers, aunts, cousins, daughters, but these are women who are passionate, they're talented, and they're committed to this craft. So not only do we play this sport on the weekend, but we put in that work, that full-time work throughout the week to make sure that we're giving the best product on the field. We have women who come from college sports, but also women who don't come from sports at all, but have that natural talent. So the DC Divas are something special.
And to that point, you all kind of take this beyond just the playing field because, yes, Lois, you all are out there in the Super Bowl attempting to bring a championship home, but you're also inspiring the next generation every step you take out there on the football field, from flag football to tackle football. There are girls and young ladies that are watching you now and knowing that, yes, this is an opportunity for me. I can do this too.
That's what it's all about. It's about growing this sport. I've told this story before, so if you've heard it, pretend like you didn't and act surprised. But I was a little girl who wanted to play football. And when I went to high school, I was introduced to organized football. So I played outside with the boys. And I didn't know that there was actually women's football. So when I went to high school, I was told, no, I couldn't play. But what if I had the vision of a woman on the field? So then I would probably learn the game. I'd probably stick to it. I'd probably do a little bit more with it. But that's what it's all about. It's showing that next generation of girls what's possible. Right now, They can get scholarships for flag football. They can get paid to go to college to play football. They can get to the Olympics to play flag football. And not to mention all of the opportunity, the job opportunities, coaching in the NFL, coaching in general for any sport. And then the business side, the marketing side, there's so much that comes to sport. What's also more important about that is it builds character. We love to hit people and not get in trouble for it. But what's even more important is that it builds leadership, it builds confidence, it builds discipline, all of the things. And if you look it up, but women who have been athletes become C-suite leaders. So it's very important for the future of the world.
Canton, Ohio, of course, the home of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. You all are playing this championship game in that type of atmosphere, that type of location here. 20 years ago, 25 years ago, when this was just a dream for you, did you imagine that women's football could be here?
You know, it's a dream. It has always been a dream. I remember in 2009 playing in, I couldn't play. My leg was broken at that time, but the DC Divas, we went to the championship. And at that time, what was huge for us was that there was a Jumbotron and a tunnel. It was a little bitty field, but there was a Jumbotron and a tunnel. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. And as an athlete, you want the opportunity to play on such a grand stage where you can show the world your talents. And that's what it's all about. We've earned it. We've come this far. We get to be here. But being in such a stadium, not just a huge stadium with a large viewership, but it's also the Pro Football Hall of Fame Stadium. I mean, it's not just NFL. It's pro football. It's where we belong.
Lois, lastly, where can people watch this that aren't in Canton, Ohio right now?
Yes. Well, we've got updates coming all weekend long at WFA Football on Instagram and Facebook. So go to @WFA Football. But you can watch the game take off on ESPN2. It'll be broadcast tomorrow, July 26th at 2 p.m. on ESPN2. And not just that game, we also have the All-American game that happens at 6 p.m. tomorrow. And today, if you want to check out our D3 teams, Richmond playing Oklahoma, and our D2 teams later on at 6:30 today, it's going to be Baltimore versus Salt Lake. All three of those games will be on the AWSN. That's the All Women's Sports Network. But tomorrow's game, where you're going to see me score a few touchdowns, that's going to be tomorrow on ESPN2.
Final prediction for that game. I know you're playing in the game, Lois. I'm not supposed to do this, but since you're joining us on television and we're talking about it, when the Divas and the Slam get together, what happens?
Listen, this is going to be a crazy game. This is unpredictable. The Divas and the Slam have never seen each other at all. I'll tell you a couple of things. The St. Louis Slam they are the defending champions, but we haven't been able to see them in any regular season game in all of history. So the DC Divas are heavy on our offense. Our air squad is phenomenal. Our D-line, phenomenal. Our QB is Amanda Congial, the MVP. So we've got a lot of threats on DC. St. Louis, you're going to expect the running back. They've got a nice, shifty, fast running back. We got something for that. And then they also have really great receivers as well. So I think you're going to see a huge battle. St. Louis has everything to defend right now, but DC, we got all hope, we got all the dreams, and we're locked in, loaded.
That's Lois Cook coming to us live from Canton, Ohio, ahead of the DC Divas taking on the St. Louis Slam. Lois, thank you so very much, and the DMV is behind you all tomorrow.
Good luck, Lois.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, I got to say thank you to my girl, Monica, from Passion for Ezra, for this fantastic dress that has all of the WFA teams on it. She made it happen for me, so I got to say a thank you to her.
Shout out to Monica. We'll get Ted and I one of those, maybe not in dress version.
Not a dress version.
Maybe not.
We'll figure it out.
Maybe not there. Maybe a kilt. Maybe a kilt. Lois, thank you so very much.
Passion for Ezra. She got you covered. And thank you as always. Thank you for having me.
Take care.
Again, check out the DC Divas as they attempt to bring a Super Bowl championship back right here home to the DMV. So thank you to Lois and Tailgate Ted. Thank you for not only coming by, but staying for that as well.
Appreciate you, man. Always happy to be here.
We are happy to have you. That's our football segment. Coming up, we're going to wrap things up with Annie Mae in just a moment. You're watching Fox 5's Live Zone. It's Friday as we welcome back to Live Zone, and look who's in the building. Annie Mae has you got to get there. We go. Give me a five, Annie Mae.
Really soaking in the moment.
Oh my goodness gracious. Annie Mae and I, we don't have a chance to be on TV too often together. We are right now.
Let's go.
We had to talk about some trending topics.
I am so ready. You know me, I can talk.
Yeah, well, I know that you can. And Annie Mae, I want to talk about this right here. This is cell phones, because Gen Z, you know how Gen Z, that's you all.
Oh, yeah.
You all like to bring things back. Apparently, a lot of Gen Z individuals are going back to flip phones right now. They want to take away from some of their screen time, going back to vinyl and stuff as well. Yeah. What are your thoughts on this?
I love this.
Woo.
I love this.
Oh, man.
Okay, see, I really was fortunate enough to grow up like half generation. Like, I'm that awkward in between, right?
You're a middle child.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I grew up, right, where we had flip phones to start, and then we transitioned to the iPhone come like high school for me. So I had a flip phone. I had a Razor. Do you remember Razors?
I remember the little thin Razor. It was a good look.
I had the Razor, and then eventually my mom had a BlackBerry, so it was like the evolution of everything. I loved it. It was great. You had to like press things 3 times to get one letter.
The
oh my god, I missed
keyboard,
it. And it always had like the little thing in the middle where you could play games on it. I'm so here for it. And maybe it'll take people away from like social media and everything that's going on these days.
All right, so you want to come back, take a step away from some screen time.
What are your memories of a flip phone, Chad?
So I'm a little bit older than you, Annie Mae, and by a little bit I mean damn near 2 decades. So for me, that was the iteration of everything. The Motorola. That was my first phone. It came right after pagers. For anybody out there who remembers a pager, you don't.
Like a doctor pager.
Like a doctor.
Like that's what I know what a pager is because doctors use it.
Doctors and in movies, drug dealers.
Yes, literally.
Can we say that on Live Zone?
Well,
I don't
yeah,
really
we can.
know.
You can say a lot on Live Zone.
Yeah, okay, good. Okay,
I'm
good.
in charge. You can say a lot.
Okay, we'll check back in with Guy Lambert. All right, so that's your take on flip phones. I think less screen time is good for all of us.
Yeah.
What I want to go to now is dating.
Okay.
Because Annie Mae, according to researchers out here, we have found that men typically date up. They look for that high level of attractiveness in their partners. But according to this same research, women kind of look downwards.
You know,
what are we doing? What does Mrs. Annie Mae look like? Mr. Annie Mae.
I don't know. My boyfriend's hot.
Ooh, there we go.
So I don't
there
know.
We go.
But I mean, I do feel like a lot of my friends, kind of both directions, right? I feel like you'll always see a couple, right, with like a super hot guy with like a not so hot girl, or the opposite with a super hot girl and a not so hot guy. Obviously, at the end of the day, if you're mutually attracted to each other, that's really all that matters. But I do think sometimes there's a level of that with females, right? Because you just date kind of whoever in terms of like what your normal, like, quote, good-looking person would be like. I think you kind of look for that a little bit later when you've been burned so many times. I think as females, if you've been burned a lot of times, you'll just be like, you know what? I'm just really looking for a nice guy, a funny guy, and you don't really care what he looks like.
Now you're talking facts here, Annie Mae.
Yeah?
You're talking about life right here. And at such a young age, like you've got this knowledge. I think you are spot on with that. I think that when we are younger, as a man who used to be in these streets, happily married now.
We ain't in the streets anymore.
But back in that time, I think that there was a desire to look for the most attractive person. But then you get through and you say, bro, that most attractive person doesn't always get you where you need to be.
Well, they do all those studies that you're dead on. They do all these studies, too, where they talk about, you know, what the exact population percentage is of somebody who's above this height, somebody who's conventionally attractive, somebody who makes this, somebody who has a six-pack. It's like 0.00001% of people, and they're not even in your age bracket or in the place that you live. So, like, it's really unrealistic for you to have, like, boom, 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 and hit your entire checklist. You just need to get to, like, 80% of those, like, core values that you really need, because at the end of the day, everybody always says you age and you don't look the same as you did when you were 25.
Annie
so,
Mae, you are cooking
right?
right now. You
Cooking.
are cooking right now. As I throw out those 666 lists that's
right? Oh my God, the 666.
Throw that 666
the
out.
figure, the six pack.
Quickly before we move on from dating, I need your thoughts on the T app.
Okay.
Give me your thoughts on the T app. It is taking the world by storm. Everybody's starting to talk about it. I'm going to go first. I think it's a horrible idea. A horrible idea.
Why do you think it's horrible?
Well, because based off of everything that we just said,
Yeah.
people are different individuals
Yeah.
at different phases of life.
Yeah.
So if you're out in those streets and somebody puts up, well, yeah, I used to kick it with such as this person, that might not even be the same person that the person is looking at now.
I think there are also a lot of gaslighters in the world.
You
There are a
better
lot of
tell
people
them.
that are manipulative.
You
So
better
like you
tell
go on this app, right, and you
Yes.
explain like your side of the story. Why don't you
Sure.
tell people what the T app is before we even start talking about
There we go. For anybody who does not know, the T app apparently, and you can fill in any holes here.
Yeah.
T app apparently this is an online community in which young ladies can go on and they can drop an individual that they're interested in and the pictures and everything else, and then they can get feedback from everyone else who may have had run-ins or encounters.
Yeah.
And anime, it's all sorts of feedback.
It's bad, it's good.
Come on now.
It's like you know, the open tables of the world where you
Sure.
get like ratings and stuff.
Yes.
On different, it's the Reddits of the world where you can do rating. But the really cool thing that the one thing that I do like about
Come on.
for me, it's a no. But the one thing I do like about it is you can't screenshot anything.
Okay,
Apparently
good.
they have like a no screenshot,
good,
no
good.
recording feature. There's
Good.
some sort of AI with all that. But to me, this is so one-sided,
Yeah.
right? And then you basically just have like this kind of super slanderous app where you're just
Sure.
gonna slander people left and right,
Yeah.
whether it's true or whether it's not,
true
like
or
or
not.
whether it's your
That's
perspective of things.
right.
You don't get this other person's perspective.
That's right.
You don't know the situation.
That's
you
right.
know half the story. But also on the other side of things, I'm like, we talked about it before. I'm like, if it ain't defamation if it's true. Like if it's true.
Man.
So there are two sides
Okay.
to everything, but for me it's a no.
Okay.
Total no.
It's a no for me as well, and I ain't even in these streets no more. All right, anyway, I know that you got to get out of here in a moment, but before you do, I want to talk about alcohol because as a man of a certain age, I've been working on making sure that I get my fitness back in order.
Yeah.
I have a drink every night.
Yeah.
What should I be drinking? What should I be staying away from?
Everybody says tequila's the best, right?
Well, for multiple things, I'll tell you that much. All right.
For an easy little shot-a-roo.
Okay, that's where you're going. Okay, got you. All right.
Okay, everybody's saying that tequila is like the healthiest for you, right? Which I get. I'm not a huge drinker. The funny thing is, I always
Really?
say. The funny thing is, I used to be, right? So
Gotcha.
I went to Penn State. Like, I had a good time. Trust me. I was a party girl.
We
I
are.
got it.
Yeah.
But post-grad, I was not a big thing anymore. One, because of the prices. Two, because of my health. I was like,
Sure.
I'm not huge. But, like, I will never turn down, like, a nightly, like, glass of wine, right?
Absolutely.
But to be
Yes.
completely honest, I probably drink more on the drinking segments
Some
here
say-
than I do when I go home. Like,
Liquid
I drink
lunch,
more on
let's
air than I
do
do
it.
for
Yeah.
anything. I don't know, but people, with this story, people are saying that tequila basically is, like, a healthier version if you're going to drink
Yes.
any sort of whatever you're drinking.
Yeah, we're not promoting, especially not underage, but if you're going to drink, look into tequila. I like vodka with water.
Like,
That's
I'm
what
a,
I do.
I do not like tequila at all. I don't like tequila. I don't like the taste.
Yeah.
That's it for me.
Yeah.
I'll do vodka. I'll do wine.
Sure.
I hate beer. Hate beer.
Me too.
Champagne, a moment. I'm here for it.
Come on,
There we go.
mimosas.
All right,
Let's do it.
Go, Chad.
Anime, I appreciate you bringing our trending topics right here on a Friday. Anime, you have yourself a great weekend.
You too, Chad.
Let's do it. We'll be right. Another shout out to Annie Mae as we talked a bunch of really exciting things. But now to keep the party rolling, we got Cecilia, producer Cecilia, in the building here this evening. Cecilia, we're going to talk about what's going on your show here tonight.
Like it or not.
Vodka or tequila, though?
I guess vodka.
Yes!
Never tequila, but not really vodka either.
Not really. Okay. All right.
Wine.
All right. We'll go get somebody else to have this conversation. But here's what we do want to talk about because we've got structured summers for kids. I know that I'm in favor of this. I like that. You tell me your thoughts.
So I feel like it's a generational thing. I'm surprised that you're for it, although you do have a son. So let me rewind it a little bit.
Yeah.
I was asking people around the newsroom. So apparently this trend, this 90s trend, feral child summer
I don't know
is
what
back.
What is this?
It's when I imagine you, because myself, during the summertime,
Yeah.
I didn't have anything to do all day, every day. I prayed that my neighbor with a pool would invite me over.
Got you.
I played with my dolls. We played a lot of manhunt around the neighborhood.
What is manhunt?
An
Hide and go
elevated hide and go seek.
Elevated.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I'll explain later. But
Good deal.
that's what we did in the summer. Now, I was asking some of our lovely interns,
Yeah.
what did you all do in the summers? They said camps,
Yes.
sleepaway camp, gymnastics camp,
Daggone
swimming,
right.
soccer camp.
Yep.
And so I'm interested to hear, are we more in favor of the kids chilling out, hoping to swim, or camp and music lessons and summer school and whatever?
Here's what I'm surprised about, and I wish that we had more time. I'm surprised that you're surprised that I like the structure for the child here.
Okay.
Let me tell you about being a parent, Cecilia. The children are always there. That's what they don't tell you. The children never go away. So the more that you can find these places, these safe spaces for them to go and to be doing productive things, as a parent, I'm all for it.
Are you implying that I wasn't there when I was a kid? My parents said, yeah, I know you're here.
So you're out wandering
Find
around.
something to do.
Yeah. They were wishing, they were like, man, where can we send her for 2 months right here?
Sent
so that we can
me
have
to
some
the
little-
local pizza shop, and I
Okay,
sat
got
there
it.
with my friends for hours, ordering one slice, taking up a table.
Yeah, there we go. We got that as an option. Another thing that you all are talking about here tonight, we're talking about baby showers for dads.
It's becoming a thing, Chad. Not just the mother. The father needs some celebration, too. People think that this new generation of fathers is also a little more involved than they previously were. So maybe they enjoy a little shower. So we'll see. We'll talk about it tonight.
That's right. And despite the fact that I want for my son to go away for 2 months, I am a very involved father.
I know.
You can catch this and so much more tonight on what's
Like
the name
It or
of the
Not.
show? Like It or Not. Bye.